Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and today we open up and say, ah. You know, when we think of the neurotypical child having to sit through a doctor's appointment, a haircut, the dreaded dentist, you're just like, ugh, add a super special power to it. And boy, it can be all but daunting, not just for the child, but also for the parents. And when I went to Lyric's pediatric dentist, she mentioned that Lyric's going to need braces and that we should maybe think about a more holistic approach when it comes to orthodontists. So that's who we're speaking with today, a holistic orthodontist. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Catherine Murphy, who, by the way, is an independent contractor now, instead of having her own business in Chicago, going around to different orthodontist practices and really offering up her new way and approach. Hi, Dr. Catherine. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Gina. Thanks so much for allowing me to share with your audience.
I have to tell you, when Lyric went to the pediatric dentist and she said, hey, you might want to think about doing a more holistic orthodontist approach, I was like, what is the difference? I'm so glad you're here on the show, Dr. Catherine. Care to share?
Oh, I love talking about this, and so thank you for this opportunity, because it can get very confusing for parents.
Okay.
So traditionally, orthodontics treats the crooked teeth as the main problem.
Okay.
So you go in, there's a bad bite, the teeth might be crooked or might be spaced. I don't want to leave out those that have spacing concerns, and that's the main goal.
Okay, so then what does a holistic orthodontist do?
So great, yes. So the actual discipline of orthodontics is actually rooted in growth and development. So what holistic approach really does is takes all of that basis that we learned, that foundation material, and applies it to every patient. So really the crooked teeth are looked at as a symptom of an underlying cause, rather than the main problem.
Like a breathing condition, or what kind of conditions could that be?
So very often it is rooted with mouth breathing. Now, mouth breathing itself is actually really just a symptom of many underlying causes. If it was a simple quick fix, then we would all be a nation that's happier and healthier, and we'd sleep better.
For sure.
But it helps on our end. We know growth and development, but the profession has kind of stopped looking at that aspect of it and just, hey, we can straighten your teeth, let's do it as fast as we can, get you in and out. Whereas the holistic approach says, okay, well, we want these teeth to be straightened, but really because we're addressing the main cause of why they're crooked, and so they'll hopefully last longer, that being straight.
So there could be multiple underlying conditions, and as a holistic orthodontist, you go in there, you pinpoint what those are. Does that take you a long time, or do you think you can, is that something you get done like in one visit?
Oh, good question, because so often it would be great, right? If we could go in, you'd get the answer, you'd go on your way. But
yeah.
Unfortunately, there can be so many different layers to things. Plus, one of the big things is not overwhelming parents. So when a parent comes in, this can all be very new to them. And in one visit, when you don't yet know that provider, you don't yet know that office, it's a lot of information that oftentimes parents are like, wait, why have I not heard this from my other primary care practitioners? So it's a lot of addressing the main concern, opening that discussion, and actually then seeing if the family is open to really looking at this from not just oh, here's my kid, give me straight teeth, I'll take them back, that's all good. Rather, okay, this is going to be a process. We're going to work with other professionals with this and not expect the orthodontist to take care of all the reasons why those teeth might be crooked.
So now let me play devil's advocate with you. Say, for instance, we go in, we get straight teeth. Doesn't that, I guess, eliminate all of those other issues, maybe?
Well, the thing is, if you've had braces, you got retainers, okay?
I had them not once, but twice. Don't anybody want to get the braces when you're in your 40s, because then you have to pay for it.
And you feel it so much more as an adult, right?
Yes, you do.
And the eating considerations as an adult are so much more difficult.
Sure.
So what were you told both times to do after your braces came off?
Wear my retainers, and now I wear them religiously. And I remember wearing because I had the real deal braces when I was growing up. Now here in the last 2 years, I had Invisalign to fix some problems that were happening after I had Lyric. My teeth just moved all kinds of crazy places. And the dentist and the orthodontist said to me, Gina, your teeth are always on the move. So once these Invisalign come out, you need to make sure you're wearing those retainers every night. And I did a good job growing up, but eventually you lose them, you damage them, you never get them replaced. And then your teeth, I guess, are always on the move.
So it's frustrating, right?
Right.
But our teeth should actually want to stay in better alignment once they get to that better alignment.
Okay.
And so that's the area where it's tough, because I used to tell patients all the time, lifetime and retainers, because nothing ever stays the same. And it's true, nothing in our body is ever going to stay the same, right? Our cells are always replenishing. So there's going to be some changes. But everything should also move in our body. Our teeth should also be able to move just a little bit, not enough that then they're getting all wonky, right?
Right.
What should be holding them where they are is actually the tongue being in harmony with the muscles around the teeth. So we got the muscles of the tongue inside the teeth, and then the muscles of the cheeks, lips around the teeth. And if those are in harmony, then the teeth should be able to move a little bit, because everything in our body should be able to move just a little bit, but basically stay in alignment.
This is so interesting. With me today, Dr. Catherine Murphy. Stay with me, Dr. Catherine, because when we get back, I want to talk about the different strategies that holistic orthodontists use on patients.
Hi, I'm Lear Gilmars. Thanks to our friends at
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Dr. Catherine Murphy, a holistic orthodontist who is an independent contractor, really going to all these different orthodontic practices in Chicago, teaching your approach. So with that, what comes those great strategies that you are teaching different orthodontists out there?
Well, one of the main ones is that the key to this is listening to the parents and the patient. And it sounds like that should be something number one, no matter what, right? But actually,
Right.
all the things that we need to know in order to best address the patient, the parent and the patient is going to be able to tell us the most, because we only get to see them for a short period of time.
Right.
So actually getting the feedback about how you, if you're an adult patient, or the child, you're the parent, how that patient is sleeping at night, what kind of habits that patient has while they're watching TV, doing homework, just in general in the car. There's so many factors that then can influence who we work with, because a holistic approach should be a collaborative approach.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, because I can only work so much. I have to stay in my lane, and
Right,
there's
right.
other specialists then to work on other aspects of care that influence the oral health as well.
What would you say is the percentage of kids or teenagers that come that are on the spectrum to you, Dr. Catherine?
Well, that is a great question, and one that I haven't tracked, because truly many of the signs and symptoms that patients come in, they may or may not have had that diagnosis. There's so many that then they may be on the spectrum but don't have the diagnosis, or just patients in general, we're looking at these same signs and symptoms that those that are on the spectrum are going to present with patients that are not.
When kids are diagnosed and put on the spectrum, one of the big things and the big concerns is gut health, right? And we all know that everything needs to kind of work in tandem with one another. Autism isn't curable. However, when we get gut health in check, we can get some other things in check. I would imagine our mouth and our alignment of teeth can help with sleeping, breathing, and all of those things that all help those cylinders up there fire off.
Yes. Excellent point. Because this is actually one of those topics I was discussing earlier that may get some families to just be overwhelmed on their first visit, because the gut health is connected to the oral health, and those microbiomes will affect each other. And mouth breathing is going to have such a negative effect on the oral microbiome and then it's going to have a negative effect on the gut microbiome. So with the mouth breathing, it influences how one sleeps and then how one eats. And so this is something that is just, I see it honestly with every single child. What they're eating oftentimes is thought of as to be healthy.
So give us some examples.
Oh, fruit snacks. Cheez-Its. Goldfish. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, I love when parents like you come in, because yes, goldfish are given out as like the healthy alternative. Yet, I mean, between the artificial, the carbs in them, and then you add the mouth breathing, and then it just sticks onto the teeth. And then it's not actually food, so it doesn't benefit your gut health. And it just starts this cascade that then patients are challenged to be able to function as they should.
You know, Dr. Catherine, you had mentioned that you sit and you really listen to both the child and the parents. What kinds of things do the staff at the practice do to help prepare either you or prepare the families for coming in?
Oh, well,
do they ask the questions like, hey, are there any triggers we need to know about, or this, that, and the other?
Yeah, so that's a great thing, is offices, if they're starting to ask that, then whether or not they call themselves holistic or not, then you know that you're going into an office that is really looking at every patient as how can we best treat you. In fact, at Wrigleyville Dental, they've had as a policy for years, they say no cologne, no perfume, no essential oils to be worn. We are a facility that limits what our sensory impact, right? And
right.
That is just such a nice, for someone like me who gets very triggered with perfumes, it's just nice to know you're going to walk in and you're not going to have that person walking down the hallway with, I used to wear that Bath and Body Works stuff, and it's like, oh, now it's so triggering now that I don't wear those perfumes anymore.
Yeah. I would imagine for a child on the spectrum, coming into a whole new practice can be a little overwhelming, and knowing that somebody's going to be in your mouth, in your teeth. For the longest time, Lyric had an issue just going to the dentist because of that reason. And our dentist is wonderful, and we've taken all the things. Now that he's a little bit older, he's worked out of some of those things, so now he goes in there like a champ. But preparing him to go to the orthodontist, and we've gone once. He still has a couple of teeth to lose before he can actually get those braces. But bringing him there immediately, like, that has really opened his eyes. Like, him being explained to, this is what we're going to do. This is the first steps. We're going to open it up. We're going to put this on. We're going to, I mean, I think for kids on the spectrum and the neurodiverse, having things kind of spelled out for them is just key, right?
Yes, absolutely. And asking what works best for them.
Yes.
And asking when the timing. Because some patients, they just want things to get done as well. There's that whole spectrum of, okay, I just want to get in, get it done, and then explain to me. So really asking what works best. How can we approach this? How can we explain this? Some want visual aids. Some like the videos beforehand, and videos are oftentimes sent beforehand. So, the patient can see what the office is going to look like, see what the practitioners and most of the team might look like, because that's also very comforting. But truly asking and finding out, so the patient concierge can often ask those questions. And then, it's also a nice opportunity for the parent themselves to say what they need. So not just the child, but also what the parent needs, because you're going in and you're then asking yourself and your child to take about an hour out of your day to listen to this. And you want to go in and be comfortable too.
Yeah, and you have to explain to them that these braces don't just come off in 3 months. I mean, like, many times you're in them for a couple years, and then you're in your retainer, and heaven forbid you need the headgear in between. It can be daunting,
yes.
Right? With me today, Dr. Catherine Murphy. Stay with me, Dr. Catherine. I'd like to find out a little bit about the cost and the insurances, all coming up next.
I'm Lyra Gillenwaters. Thanks for checking out this episode of Life with the Spectrum. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll always see the newest episodes when they come out.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Dr. Catherine Murphy, a holistic orthodontist that is an independent contractor choosing to go and really spread the message and teach other orthodontists how to become holistic. Dr. Catherine, I understand when we looked into holistic orthodontistry here in Georgia, the holistic orthodontist I called did not accept insurance. And that bothered me a little bit because I was like, you know what? I mean, I can't really, insurance doesn't pay for a whole lot of orthodontists anyway. They maybe cover $2,500 out of the grand scheme of $6,000, $7,000. So I was like, I just can't do that. I have to go to a regular one that does take my insurance. What is the cost difference between holistic and a normal orthodontist?
Well,
or not normal, but
traditional.
A traditional, thank you.
It's really going to depend on what the patient needs and at what phase the patient is at. Because a lot of times, if we can see the patient younger, the better. So that's going to change the cost, because at a younger age, when we're doing what's called interceptive or phase 1 or more orthopedic development, so those are all terms that might come up, that cost is going to be lower because it's focused on basically appliances and myofunctional therapy. And so there's not really so many brackets, the squares that go in the teeth.
Okay.
Then there's more comprehensive, which then might still involve all those appliances, but then also the little brackets on the teeth, the myofunctional therapy. What I would let your audience really know is that many offices, how they're wording things with insurance, they want to ask for clarification. Because when I had my private practice, I chose not to be in network with any insurances, but I accepted any insurance. That just meant that they might not get the full benefit of someone that's in network, but in network then put more constraints on me as a practitioner, which meant it constrained what I could do for my patients, right?
All of the dentists seem to go out of network now. Everyone that I'm talking to, I had to leave one dentist and go, my own personal dentist, and go to a different dentist because they decided, you know what, your insurance company is telling me what I can and cannot do to you. And if you need this done, why wouldn't you cover it? Like, we're trying to give you the best care. And I was like, okay, this is, wow, very interesting.
It's such a tug, right? Because insurance should be there to help, but yet, they're trying to make money, and they're not the ones treating the patients. So
that's right.
It's just usually people that it's different when it's something black and white, and versus you see a patient, and every practitioner that I've ever known, they go into it and they want to do what is best for you. And having an insurance company, someone that isn't responsible for your care, telling them what they can and cannot do, is one of the most frustrating things.
So the short order answer is that the cost is relatively the same amount for the same service, provided the age group or what needs to be done, right?
Correct. The cost might be more because those that practice with the holistic approach, they have gone through many additional hours of continuing education, practice, and I'm going to be very transparent. Those that have decided to really label themselves as holistic, they have gone through a lot of challenges from their colleagues and have had to probably spend a lot more money counteracting a lot of the challenges, and really being able to do what they feel is best for the patients. And one of the number one things is getting us out of a system. Orthodontics can become such a systemized approach, and that's why many offices can see so many patients. But with this approach, you can't see as many patients. And without being able to see as many patients, you really then need to increase the cost a little bit more to be able to give that more customized care.
Dr. Catherine, how can people get in touch with you and ask questions, or maybe find you at Wrigley? You said you're practicing at Wrigley Dental right now?
Yes, in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Just right by the Cubs Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, we have viewers in Chicago too. So, Dr. Catherine, can we give websites or social medias?
So the website is drcatherinemurphy.com, and it's Catherine with a C. And if you'd like to email me, it's hello@drcatherinemurphy.com. All my socials are Dr. Catherine Murphy. And if you'd like to call or text, the number is 219-220-2356.
I think this is wonderful information that we just gave out to a lot of our friends that are on the spectrum and that are choosing to go the holistic orthodontist approach.
Yes, yes.
Thanks so much for being with me again, Dr. Catherine Murphy.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Gina.
That was really eye-opening for me because, you know, we were told as a family to take Lyric to a holistic orthodontist. And so now to figure out a little bit more about what it is they do and their approach. It's not like they have to shove all the hardware in there on the same day. Holistic orthodontists can take their time with each and every patient and say, hey, you know, I understand sitting too long in that chair. I get it. So maybe putting in an upper expander this time and the lower expander next time. That's the big difference. Listening to their patients and really trying to connect the mind, body, spirit, and the gut and the mouth and the breathing and everything together to help those teeth become straight. In the end, that's what we want. And we want our kids happy in the process. We don't want to put them through the daunting task of sitting there for an hour getting, you know, just because some of them can't handle that, right? I know. So holistic orthodontists, look for them. I did a little Google search here in the metro and found about a dozen or more. So you can always hop on Google that way. And of course, if you're ever up in Chicago, make sure you look for Dr. Catherine Murphy. Maybe you are watching from Chicago right now. Dr. Catherine Murphy, an independent contractor, but working out of the Wrigleyville dental office right next to the Cubs Stadium, can listen to you and your family and really go through your needs and wants and eventually get those teeth straightened out and all the other things maybe worked out too. Thanks again for checking in with Life with the Spectrum. If there's somebody I need to be speaking with, you know what to do. Like, comment, share below, and make sure to subscribe to the show. If you want to send me an email, it's gina@gcast.com. It's GKASTS.com. As we continue to live this crazy journey called life, I appreciate you every week checking in to Life with the Spectrum. See ya.
Bye.